Where I live, the outdoor grow season is getting closer, and I've never been so excited for spring. So with that in mind, I'm hosting a free virtual Growers Ask Me Anything. 3 growers from 3 different climates hosted by me. You can find it live streamed on YouTube and LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is surprisingly cannabis friendly. And it's going to be on Thursday, April 2nd, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can send questions ahead of time to me at stayhigh@bitemepodcast.com, or just show up and bring your questions. I know I have some. So again, that's Thursday, April 2nd, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope to see you there. Welcome back, friends, to episode 345. What your edibles habit says about you. I'm your host, Margaret, a certified ganjier and cannabis educator who believes your kitchen is the best dispensary you'll ever have. Welcome to Bite Me, the show about edibles. Grab a snack and let's dive in. If you're joining us for the first time today, welcome. This is a fun one for you. And if you've been a long-time listener, I'm trying out some new things. You'll have to let me know afterwards how you like it. No preamble. Let's get right into it. So picture this. It's a Saturday afternoon and you've got nowhere to be. So you grab an edible. Maybe it's a gummy, maybe it's a chocolate or some little mint thing, and you eat it, and you wait, and you wait. And 35 minutes in, you think, I don't feel anything. So you eat half of another one, just half. You're not reckless. Then approximately 45 minutes after that, when you are very deep in an important Wikipedia spiral about the history of competitive dog grooming, it hits you like a warm, comfortable, confusing freight train. And you think, I have made a choice. If any of this felt personally attacking, welcome. You're in the right place. Today, we're doing something a little bit different. We're reading your personality through your edibles habit, not your birth chart, not your attachment style, because I genuinely believe that the way a person approaches an edible, the ritual, the logic, the catastrophic miscalculations, tells you more about who they are than any personality test ever could. Why edibles specifically? Like, why is this the thing that reveals character? Here's my theory. Edibles are uniquely good at exposing who you are because of the one thing, the wait. There's a delay between the action and the result, and how a person handles that delay, the gap where you have no information and no control and you just have to trust the process. That's where personality lives. Do you stay the course? Do you panic eat another one? Do you build a spreadsheet? Do you just forget you took one and make a very confusing dinner? That window is a personality X-ray. And unlike, say, a Myers-Briggs test, you cannot lie your way through it. The edible knows. So today, we've got 5 main personality types plus a bonus, and we're getting into the situational habits because when and where you take them, also incredibly revealing. So let's diagnose. Here are the 5 types. Type 1, the scientist. You know this person. You might be this person. And no judgment. I respect the commitment. The scientist does not just eat an edible. The scientist admires an edible. There's a process. They cut the gummy, and I mean cut with something precise, not just bitten in half like an animal, into portions, maybe thirds, maybe quarters, if it's a high milligram situation. They have a preferred dosage that they have arrived at through genuine experimentation over multiple sessions. They probably have notes somewhere on their phone, in the Bite Me Edibles journal, maybe a dedicated note, maybe, and I say this with love, a spreadsheet. When they take it, they note the time. They track the onset. They will tell you with confidence that for them, personally, the effect begins at 42 minutes and peak at approximately the 2-hour mark. And look, this person is never, ever the one texting, I think I took too much. They have never taken too much. They will not take too much. They have engineered that possibility out of their life. So what does this say about you? You're analytical, detail-oriented. You are very good at your job and you probably find it difficult to delegate. You experience something called vacation guilt. The concept of just winging it gives you low-grade anxiety that you've learned to mask. You have never in your life just vibed. And a part of you, a very small, very buried part is curious what that would be like. We move on. Type 2, the YOLO. I also like to call this one the fuck around and find out, but we're trying to keep it a little more PG here. Not that any kids are listening to this, because they're not. You must be 18 years of age or older to enjoy this podcast. The YOLO is in many ways the scientist's natural enemy, or frenemy, maybe. The YOLO does not read the packaging. The YOLO does not think about milligrams. The YOLO saw that there were 10 gummies in the bag and thought, well, those are fun-sized, and ate 4 before anyone could intervene. The YOLO is having a great time for the first hour. They're chatty, they're energetic, they are thriving. They suggest activities, they start a group chat, they make ambitious plans. And then, somewhere around hour 2, the YOLO goes very quiet. They're lying on the couch. They're doing a full body vibe check, and the results are concerning. They text somebody, possibly multiple somebodies, something along the lines of, hey, so I think I might be dead. They are not dead. They are fine. They will be fine by morning. And by next weekend, they will have completely forgotten this experience and be ready to do it again. What does this say about you? You're an optimist, a true optimist, the kind that believes every single time that this time will be different. You're fun, spontaneous. You're the person who makes a trip memorable. You're also the person who has a lot of, I can't believe that happened stories that all follow a very similar structure. You're probably a Sagittarius, or you have a lot of Sagittarius energy. You know who you are. Type 3, the anxious waiter. This is a very common type, and I say that with deep, genuine empathy because I believe most of us have spent time here. The anxious waiter takes a responsible dose, very reasonable. They're doing it right, and then they wait. 30 minutes pass. Nothing yet. That's normal, right? 45 minutes. Still nothing. Is this a bad batch? Am I one of those people that it doesn't work on? I read about that. Some people, it just doesn't work on. An hour. Okay, I'm going to Google this real quick. And Google, as it always does, provides both reassurance and 16 new things to worry about simultaneously. So they take a little bit more, just a little, responsible amounts, given the circumstances, and they wait again. What the anxious waiter does not fully account for is that the first dose was working the whole time. It was just working quietly. And now that second dose is coming, and they are going to meet each other. The anxious waiter did not listen to my episode on the science of onset times. The anxious waiter's peak experience involves saying, is this normal to someone? Sometimes out loud, sometimes just internally, on a loop for 40 minutes. What does this say about you? You're a thinker, a planner. You like to feel prepared, and you are deeply uncomfortable with uncertainty, specifically the kind where you don't know when the information is coming. You probably refresh your tracking page when a package is out for delivery. You've drafted texts and then deleted them because you weren't sure how they'd land. You care a lot about doing things right, which is beautiful and also occasionally your downfall. You contain multitudes and also 2 doses. Type 4, the social sharer. The social sharer treats edibles as a communal experience, and honestly, the vibe is very generous, very warm, and sometimes a little chaotic. This is the person who brings edibles to gatherings, every gathering. If they're being honest. Not because anyone asked, they just knew that it would be a good idea. They love introducing people to a new brand or watching someone try an edible for the first time, or generally being the person who made the night more interesting. They're very free with them, very. Someone expresses mild interest, here, take one. Someone says they've never tried one, oh, okay, take half of this one. They also gave one to someone else. They may have lost count. It's fine. It's a vibe. The social sharer is often less focused on their own experience than on the group experience. They want everyone to be having a good time. They're checking in. How are you feeling? You good? Do you need water? I have snacks. What does this say about you? You're a nurturer. You probably got typed as a 2 if you've done Enneagram. You feel most like yourself when you're the person who made something good happen for the people around you. Your love language is acts of service and also free gummies. You'd be an incredible cruise director. This is a compliment. The shadow side, you do not always track your own intake because you're too busy managing everyone else's. And this is also true of other areas of your life. You might want to look at that. Type 5. The sophisticated microdose. The sophisticated microdose is not here to get high. Let's establish that up front. They're here for enhancement. They take 2.5 milligrams, maybe 5 on a special occasion. They have a preferred brand, not just a preferred product, a preferred brand, because formulation matters. They're very precise when they're making their own edibles at home. They can tell you what terpenes they like. They will tell you. The Sophisticated Microdose has integrated edibles into a broader wellness routine in a way that is impressive and slightly baffling to behold. They might take one before a morning walk or a creative work session or yoga. They talk about it the same way they talk about their adaptogen supplements and their cold plunge routine as a precision tool. They have a preferred time of day, a preferred context. They've thought about this. What does this say about you? You are high achieving and self-optimizing. You believe that with the right system, most things can be improved. You have a skincare routine. You have opinions about your skincare routine. You've read at least one book about habits or sleep in the last year. You're actually onto something. There's real substance to intentional low-dose use, but also, and I say this gently, you could stand to occasionally do something with absolutely no optimization goal whatsoever. Just eat the whole gummy, watch something, let it be unproductive. You might enjoy it. And okay, we have to do the honorable mention, the type that doesn't fit neatly anywhere else, the forgetter. The forgetter bought edibles with full intention. Good intentions. They had a plan. Then they put the edibles somewhere. Maybe the nightstand, maybe a kitchen drawer, maybe a coat pocket they haven't worn since November. 6 months later, during a cleaning sprint or a coat rotation, they find them and they think, well, they're still good probably. And they eat all of them in one sitting with no plan. The forgetter is chaotic neutral. No maliciousness, not reckless exactly, just operating on a different timeline than the rest of us. They lose their keys a lot. They have 17 browser tabs open right now. They are deeply lovable. There's also the situational habits. So we've covered who you are. Now let's talk about when and where, because the circumstances matter enormously. Before a movie, alone at home, you're introspective, creative. You want to feel the movie. You've probably rewatched something you love just to see if it hits differently. And it did. And now that's a thing you do. You cried at a Pixar film recently, and I don't mean a little. Before a social event, interesting, complicated. You are probably someone who describes yourself as an extrovert with a little anxiety, which is a sentence that contains a lot of information. You want to be on. You want to enjoy the thing. You are also slightly terrified of what happens if you misjudged the timing and you're still fully coming up during the appetizers. You've done the math and you've accepted the risk. Before a hike or outdoor activity, you own at least one piece of Patagonia. You use the word intentional, unironically. You want to be present in nature, like more present than normal present. You will describe the way the light hits the trees and genuinely mean it. This is actually wonderful. Never stop. Late night, alone in bed. You're running from something. I say this with complete affection. Maybe it's thoughts, maybe it's the ambient hum of daily stress, maybe it's just the sleep that doesn't come easy and this is the thing that helps. Whatever it is, you've found your ritual and it works for you, and there is nothing wrong with finding a soft landing at the end of a long day. Before a work task, you are either a visionary or about to send the most interesting email your coworker has ever received. There is no in between. History will decide which one you are. Real talk for a second. I've been poking fun this whole episode at the scientist with the spreadsheet, the YOLO who never learns, the anxious waiter deep in a Google spiral, and it's all meant with love, genuine love. And here's the thing I actually believe. The way you handle an edible is kind of a microcosm of how you handle uncertainty in general, because that's what the weight is. You've made a decision, you've acted on it, and now you have to sit with the outcome on a delay with no real way to control what happens next or speed up the timeline. And some of us sit with that just fine. Some of us need to track it in a spreadsheet to feel safe. And some of us take a second one because the discomfort of not knowing yet is worse than the risk of too much. And some of us forget about it entirely and deal with it later. None of these are wrong. They're just you. Your particular shape of a person, the way you're made, plus everything that happened to you after. Your edible habit isn't embarrassing, it's not something to fix, it's data. Friendly, occasionally chaotic, sometimes very funny data about who you are and how you move through the world. And honestly, that's kind of beautiful. Let's do a rapid fire recap. Which one are you? The scientist, spreadsheet, precision, never taken too much in their life. The YOLO, 4 gummies, great first hour, full body existential hour 2. The anxious waiter, responsible dose, Google spiral, 2 doses, surprise. The social share, brought enough for everybody, lost count, checking on you. The sophisticated microdose, 2.5 milligrams, terpene opinions and a whole philosophy. Or the forgetter, found them in a coat pocket, no regrets. I want to hear yours. Seriously, let me know. Send me a fan mail, whichever type you think you are. You may also be a combination of different ones. Or tell me your most unhinged edible experience of your life. Zero judgment. This is a safe space. And I have heard things, and I want to hear more things. If you listened to the episode recently where I talked about how my father took an edible accidentally, got high for the very first time at the age of 94, the personality trait of the YOLO really came to mind for me. I also am somebody that likes to eat edibles and watch movies alone at night. Am I running from something? I might be. Anyway, friends, I am your host, Margaret. Thanks for listening. Be safe. Know your dose. If you don't, you're a YOLO. But anyway, I am your host, Margaret. Until next week, my friends, stay curious and stay high.